Welcome to another session on structural analysis. In this video, we will discuss the Kani's method from basic principles and you will learn the procedure of analysis of continuous beam using Kani's method. We will also solve one numerical example on analysis of continuous beam. Kani's method is also known as rotation contribution method. Kani's method was developed by Dr. Gaspar Kani of Germany in 1947. Actually, Kani's method is an extension of slope deflection method which was developed by Professor George Maney in 1915. Kani's method is derived from slope deflection method and it looks like the moment distribution method because in Kani's method we calculate rotation factor just similar to the distribution factor in moment distribution method. You know that in structural analysis, we have force methods and displacement methods. So as this Kani's method is derived from slope deflection method, this is also a displacement method. And this is nothing but iterative solution of slope deflection method. And this iteration follows Gauss-Seidel iteration technique. In appearance, Kani's method look like moment distribution method. But there are some differences in Kani's method and moment distribution method. So let us see what is the difference between Kani's method and moment distribution method. In moment distribution method, we calculate the fixed end moment and at the joint, we calculate unbalanced moment. And that unbalanced moment is distributed in proportion to the distribution factor. So here, in moment distribution method, increments to the member end moments are iterated. Whereas in Kani's method, iterates the members end moment themselves. So end moments, we do not calculate the unbalanced moment here in Kani's method. It iterates the member end moments directly. Now let us see what are the advantages of Kani's method. It is very rapid method. That means time required to solve the problem in Kani's method is very less as compared to other methods. This method is error eliminating. You have studied moment distribution method. In moment distribution method, if you commit mistake in some step, then it is carry forwarded to the next step. But here it is a error eliminating method. In moment distribution method, we have to carry out sway analysis and non-sway analysis in separate moment distribution stages. So we require more time. But in Kani's method, sway calculations and non-sway calculations are carried out in single continuous calculation operation. So there is saving of time and efforts. Then checking of final result is easy as checking can be confined to final values of rotation contribution and displacement contribution. All rounds of calculation need not be checked. In case of moment distribution method, we have to add all the values. Whereas here in Kani's method, we can get the final values from the last result only. Now main advantage of Kani's method is, in Kani's method, if you commit some mistake, it will automatically get corrected. So Kani's rotation contribution method is advantageous over moment distribution method since any arithmetic error that creeps in will automatically get corrected. Using Kani's method, we can solve the structure without sway and also the structures with sway. In structures without sway, we can analyze continuous beam, simple frames, symmetrical portal frames. In structure with sway, we can analyze unsymmetrical portal frame using Kani's method. Now let us see what type of problems we can solve using Kani's method. We can solve continuous beam, we can solve simple frames, we can solve portal frame, symmetrical portal frame and unsymmetrical portal frames using Kani's method. Simple frame is also example of non-sway analysis because there is some horizontal support, there is some support which restrict the horizontal movement of the frame. So simple frame looks something like this, and we can analyze simple frame using Kani's method. We can analyze symmetrical portal frame. You know that symmetrical portal frame means the portal frame which has equal column length, same cross-sectional area, same column end conditions, and symmetrical load. So symmetrical portal frames look something like this. There is axis of symmetry in case of symmetrical portal frame. There is mirror image of the portal frame about the axis of symmetry. Then we can also solve the unsymmetrical portal frame using Kani's method. We know that unsymmetrical portal frame means the frame in which column legs are not equal. There are inclined column legs, unequal cross section of columns, different types of column supports, and unsymmetrical loading on the beam or on the column. Then it is called as unsymmetrical portal frame. Unsymmetrical portal frame looks something like this with different support conditions or having unsymmetrical loading, different column heights, or moment of inertia of column may be different, or it can have the inclined legs. So unsymmetrical portal frame can also be solved using Kani's method in single steps. In Kani's method, when we analyze the unsymmetrical portal frame, there is some change in the analysis procedure when the portal frame is subjected to only vertical loads and when there is horizontal load also in addition to vertical load. So there is some change in the procedure of the analysis. Now we will see basic equation used in Kani's method and how it is derived from the slope deflection equation. Now for any member, we write slope deflection equation like this. That means MAB, that is final moment at A whose far end is B, is equal to 2EI by L twice theta A plus theta B minus plus 3 delta upon L plus MFAB. Minus sign we use when there is sway towards right and plus when towards left. Minus sign we use when there is sway towards right and plus when there is sway towards left. So these are the two basic equations we used in slope deflection method. So here you can see that what are the factors which contribute to the final moment, that is rotation at near end, rotation at far end, displacement, and fixed end moment which is developed due to the external load. So if you multiply this bracket by 2EI by L, we can get the equation something like this. MAB is equal to 4EI by L theta A plus twice EI by L theta B plus 6EI delta upon L square plus MFAB. Now there are 4 reasons because of which bending moment is generated at any support. So just now I told you that what are those 4 reasons? These are rotation at near end means theta A, rotation at far end means theta B, displacement contribution means delta, contribution of delta, and contribution of external load which is in the form of fixed end moments. So there are 4 reasons because of which the bending moment is generated at any support. In Kani's method, 2EI by L into theta, this term is known as rotation contribution. So let us see what is meant by rotation contribution. So if we want to write the slope deflection equation for any member AB, we write it something like this. So in this, 2EI by L into theta is called as rotation contribution in Kani's method. Now 2EI by L into theta B. Theta B means B is far end. So this is rotation contribution at far end. Now here if you take 2EI by L into theta A, so that will be rotation contribution at near end. So there is 2 multiplied by rotation contribution at near end. Then rotation contribution at far end. This is called as displacement contribution. So if it is a member AB, then 2EI by L theta A is known as rotation contribution at near end. So there is 2 times rotation contribution at near end for any member. Then 2EI by L theta B is called as rotation contribution at far end. So it is denoted by m dash AB and m dash BA. This is rotation contribution. Then 6 EI delta upon L square is called as displacement contribution, and it is denoted by m double dash AB. So these are the basic terms used in Kani's method, that is rotation contribution and displacement contribution. So rotation contribution is 2 EI by L into theta, whereas displacement contribution is EI delta upon L square. So please remember that there is typing mistake. This delta and this delta is same. So 6 EI delta upon L square, this term is known as displacement contribution. So here we are going to use the terms rotation contribution and displacement contribution while solving the problems. Now, if this is the equation of slope deflection method for member AB, now how it is written in Kani's method? In Kani's method, what is MAB? MAB is the final moment of member AB at A. So what is final moment? It is 2 times rotation contribution at near end, rotation contribution at far end, plus displacement contribution plus fixed end moment. So in Kani's method, this is the basic equation we use in Kani's method, that is 2 times rotation contribution at near end plus rotation contribution at far end plus displacement contribution plus fixed end moment. So mathematically, the Kani's equation is written something like this. MAB is equal to 2 times rotation contribution at near end plus rotation contribution at far end plus displacement contribution plus fixed end moment. Now, when there is no displacement, that means if there is no sinking of support in continuous beam, then this term will not be there. That means this term will not be there. And if the portal frame is without sway, then also this term will not appear in the equation. That means this will not be there. In that case, the equation can be written as MAB is equal to 2 times rotation contribution at near end plus rotation contribution at far end plus fixed end moment directly. So there will not be any displacement contribution if there is no sinking of support or the portal frame is without sway. Now let us see how to analyze the structure using Kani's method. So similar to the moment distribution method, we have to learn some terminology here. That is, what is rotation factor? In moment distribution method, we calculate distribution factor. Similarly, in this method, we calculate rotation factor. So let us see what is the meaning of rotation factor. In moment distribution method, we calculate the distribution factor using some tabular form. Similarly, here also we calculate rotation factor, and this rotation factor is nothing but half of minus times half of distribution factor. Just similar to moment distribution method. In moment distribution method, we calculate distribution factor. If you multiply that distribution factor by minus half, you will get rotation factor. So rotation factor is nothing but minus half k upon summation k. So k upon summation k is distribution factor. So rotation factor is minus half times this. So if you take the addition of rotation factor at any joint, you will get minus 0.5. In moment distribution, we get summation of distribution factor at any joint is equal to 1. But here in Kani's method, we get summation of rotation factor at joint is equal to minus 0.5. So sum of rotation factor at any joint is minus 0.5. There is one more term used in Kani's method, which is rotation contribution. In moment distribution method, we do balancing of the joint. So here we have to, in Kani's method, we have to calculate rotation contribution for balancing the joint. So what is this rotation contribution? It is the rotation contribution at far end plus summation of fixed end moment at that joint multiplied by rotation factor. So rotation contribution at near end is given by rotation contribution at far end, which is denoted by m dash BA, plus sum of fixed end moment at that joint multiplied by rotation factor. You may not understand this step at this stage, but I will explain this step in detail while solving the problem. Now let us solve one numerical example on Carney's method, and I will explain all the steps using this example only. That is analysis of beam by Carney's method, continuous beam. And we will draw the bending moment diagram. So let us consider this beam ABCD, which has fixed support at A and D and continuous over support B and C. The beam is subjected to eccentric load of 50 kN on span AB and uniformly distributed load 80 kN meter on span BC and 100 kN central point load. So this span is 4 meter, this is 4 meter and this is 3 meter. Moment of inertia for AB member is I, here it is 2I, and for CD member is 1.5I. So let us see what are the steps in solving continuous beam by Carney's method. So we have studied many displacement method, that is slope deflection method or moment distribution method. So first step is to calculate the fixed end moment. How to calculate fixed end moment? I have already explained in my earlier videos on slope deflection method and moment distribution method. So we have some standard formula to calculate the fixed end moment due to external load. So first step in Carney's method is to calculate the fixed end moment. So first we will calculate fixed end moment for member AB, BC and CD. So let us calculate fixed end moment for member AB. So this is eccentric load and we know that fixed end moment, this is standard formula minus WAB square by L square. A is this 2.5 and B is 1.5. So if you calculate this, you will get this value minus 17.58 kilonewton meter. Then MFBA, you know the meaning of MFBA is fixed end moment at B whose far end is A. So it is WA square by A square B upon L square. So remember that anti-clockwise we are taking negative and clockwise we are taking positive. So this is sign convention we are adopting in this method. So this is WA square B upon L square, you get 29.30. Similarly, we can calculate fixed end moment for member B. We know that due to UDL, fixed end moment is calculated using this standard formula WL square by 12. Please remember this W, you write it small w. By mistake it is capital W here. So minus 80 WL square by 12. So you will get minus 106.67. It is anti-clockwise at B and it is clockwise 106.67 kilonewton at C. So we have calculated fixed end moment for member BC. On member CD, there is central point load and therefore we know that for central point load, the fixed end moment is standard formula WL by 8. So L is 3 meter, W is 100. So we get minus 37.5 and plus 37.5 as fixed end moment for member CD. Now next step is to calculate rotation factor. Here also we are going to make some table to calculate the rotation factor just similar to moment distribution method. So this is the given beam. Now we will calculate rotation factor. So to calculate rotation factor, we will make one table having 5 columns, that is joint, member, K, summation K, and then rotation factor which is minus half times K upon summation K. Now first of all you have to identify how many joints are there. Now in this member, in this beam, there are two joints. Joints means where there are two or more members meeting at the point. So here there are two joints, that is joint B and joint C. So we will calculate rotation factor at joint B and joint C. At joint B, so if you calculate, there are two members, that is member BA and member BC. So first we will calculate rotation factor at B. So at B there are two members BA and BC. So these are two members BA, BC. So we know that K means relative stiffness. When far end is fixed, relative stiffness is I by L. So this is I by 4 and this is 2I by 4. So we get 0.25I and 0.5I. So take summation of k and then calculate this minus half k upon summation of k. You will get minus 1 by 6 and minus 1 by 3 as rotation factor at this joint. If you add this, you will get minus 0.5. Similarly, you can calculate rotation factor at joint C. So let us calculate rotation factor at joint C. At joint C, there are two members, CB and CD. We know that K is equal to I by L for both the members because it is continuous end here, so I by L, and here fixed end, so I by L. If it is hinge support, then it is 3/4 I by L. So here we calculate it. So here I is 2I and here 1.5I. Therefore, we substitute 2I here and 1.5I here and calculate it. Add it, you will get summation K, and then calculate using this formula. You will get the rotation factor at joint C as minus 0.25 and minus 0.25. So this is how we calculate the rotation factor in Kani's method. Now after calculating rotation factor, we have to prepare the iteration table. This is very important step, how to prepare the iteration table. So let us see. Now to prepare the iteration table, first of all you identify how many joints are there. So there are two joints, joint B and joint C. So draw two squares like this. At joint B, one square. For joint C, second square. And then you draw the whatever structure is given to you as it is. For example, here from B to A, the structure look like this. So we will draw like this. Between B to C, there is a straight line. So it will look like this. And from C to D, it is a fixed beam. It is like this. So draw the sketch something like this. After drawing this, the next step is to draw small squares inside this big square. So draw two squares here at the joint. After this, you draw these lines like this. Similarly, draw the lines in box C. So you will get the sketch something like this. Now let us see how to write and what to write on these lines and in this box. So in next step, we will see how to write the fixed end moment and rotation factor on this sketch. Now once you prepare this diagram, next is to write the fixed end moment. So fixed end moment we write above this line. So for example, here we will write fixed end moment MFAB. So MFAB value we are going to write here. MFBA we will write here. So for member AB, whatever fixed end moments are there, we will write above this line. Similarly, fixed end moment for BC, we write above this line, MFBC and MFCB. Then above this line, we will write fixed end moment for member CD, MFCD and MFDC. After writing fixed end moment, we have to write the rotation factor. Now here means at B towards A, in this box we will write rotation factor for BA. In this box we will write rotation factor for BC. Suppose there is a column here, if it is a frame and column here, and if this end is E, then for BE we will write the rotation factor here. If there is some member on this side, so we will write rotation factor here. So in this case, since there are only two members meeting at joint B, there can be four members. So there is a space to write the rotation factor of all the four members. So here we will write rotation factor for BA. Here we will write rotation factor for BC, rotation factor for CB, and rotation factor for CD. Now after writing these rotation factors, we calculate the unbalanced moment. Now you know that at B, MBA must be equal to MBC for equilibrium. But since we calculate fixed end moment from this load, there will be different value here, and fixed end moment for this, there will be different value here. So first of all, we will calculate unbalanced moment. That means we will take summation of moment MFBA plus MFBC, and this we have to write in this small square. So here what we are going to write? We are going to write summation of fixed end moment at that joint. If there are 4 members meeting at that joint, then we will add four values and write here. So here there are 2 values. So we will take the sum of fixed end moment of BA plus BC. Similarly here we will add fixed end moment of all the members meeting at that joint. So MFCB and MFCD, add it, write it here. So this is the preliminary step. We have to write all these things which we have calculated so far here. And after this, we will start the iteration. So in moment distribution method, we balance the joint, whereas in this method, we calculate rotation contribution at each end. So here we will get some values. We calculate rotation contribution using this formula. What is rotation contribution? It is rotation contribution at far end. Just now we have seen initially what is rotation contribution. So you revise this. So this is far end rotation contribution plus fixed end moment multiplied by rotation factor. So while solving the problem, I will explain this again. So let us see how to solve this. So we are solving this problem. We have I have already discussed how to prepare this sketch. And now what we are going to write here? Here we are going to write the fixed end moment above this, which we have already calculated. So here it is MF AB minus 17.58, 29.30 is MF BA. Then for BC also we will write fixed end moment, and for CD also we will write the fixed end moment. After writing the fixed end moment, you take sum of fixed end moment and write in this table. So if you add these two, you will get 77.37 negative. If you add these two, you will get 69.17. So this is summation of fixed end moment of all the fixed end moment of all the members meeting at that joint. So after writing this summation of fixed end moment, write rotation factor. So for this member, we have calculated rotation factor minus 1 by 6, and for this it is minus 1 by 3. And similarly, we have also calculated for member CB minus 0.25 and minus 0.25. So this is how we write whatever we have calculated so far, that is fixed end moment and rotation factors in this table. Now next step is to carry out the iteration. Now let us see, this is very important step, how to carry out the iteration. This is the basic formula which we are going to use to carry out the iteration. So we will calculate some values and this will appear here. For BC, the values will be here, written here. For CB, it will be here. For CD, it will be here. For BA, it will be here. So we are going to write the values here at these places using this formula. So let us see how to apply this formula. Now to start the procedure, first we will go to joint B. Now at joint B, we will apply this condition. What is M-BA? It is rotation contribution at far end. What is the far end for joint B? Far ends are A and C. So initially there are no values. So we will write 0 here. So these are nothing but M-BA. It is called as rotation contribution at far end. So initially we do not have any value here. So we will write 0, 0 here. Then what is summation of fixed end moment at this joint? It is minus 77.37. So what we will do? We will add this and multiply it by rotation factor. That means this value plus this value plus this value. Okay. So to this, multiply by minus 1.6, 1 by 6 right here, multiply by minus 1 by 3 right here. So what you will get? You will get rotation contribution for BA and rotation contribution for BC. So to get rotation contribution for BA, we have to add far end values plus fixed end moment, multiply it by this. That is rotation factor right here. Multiply by rotation factor right here. So if you calculate this, let us see what you get. So you get rotation contribution BA as 16.85. because this is also negative, this is negative, so we will get positive value. And for BC, it is 25.78. So these values are called as rotation contribution at B. So how we have calculated this? Addition of rotation contribution at far end plus fixed end moment multiplied by rotation factor here, multiplied by rotation factor here. Same way, now we will calculate rotation contribution for CB and CD. Let us see how to calculate at next joint. So we have started with joint B. Now we will solve joint C. Again, then we will go to joint B. Again, then we will go to joint C. We repeat this procedure till we get same value at end. Let us see. Now we will calculate at C. For C, what are the far ends? Far ends are B and D. So what are the values of rotation contribution at far end? Here it is 25.78. But here we do not have any value. So we will write 0. So add this and this plus summation of fixed end moment. To this multiply by rotation factor right here, multiply by this rotation factor right here. So what you get? So we will cut this initial value and write the new value. So we get minus 23.74. Since these rotation factors are same, you will get same value. How we have calculated this? This is adding far end values, this plus this. To this, add this small square value, multiply it by rotation factor right here. Okay, this completes the first cycle. Same we will carry out in second. In same way we will solve in second cycle. In second cycle, we will go to joint B. Now what are the far end values? New values 0 and minus 23.74. So these are the rotation contribution at far end. To this add summation of fixed end moment and then multiply by this rotation factor and write the new values. When we write the new values, we cut the initial value so that we will not have any confusion. So let us see second iteration at joint B. So before we start second step, we will first cut these initial values and now we will write the new values. What will be new value here? Here it will be 0 plus minus 23.74 minus 77.37. This is that bracket. To this multiply by this factor right here. You will get 16.85. Multiply by minus 1 by 3, you will get 33.70. So now we have the fresh value for rotation contribution for BC. Now again we will go to joint C and repeat same process. So go to joint C. First of all delete initial values and then add these 33.70 plus 0 plus 69.17. To this multiply by minus 0.25 at both the side same value, so we will get minus 25.72. So this completes second cycle. Now third cycle. In third cycle again we will cut these values and we will obtain the fresh values. So again go to joint B, cut these values and now we will write new values. What will be new value? This value, far end values means 0 and minus new value minus 25.72 minus 77.37. Add all these 1, 2 and 3. Add these 3 and then multiply it by this right here, multiply it by this right here. So if you calculate, you will get 17.18 and 34.36. Similarly, go to joint C and follow same process. So to calculate new values, first of all we cut the old values and then what are the how we calculate? 1, 2, 3. Add these 3 values. To this multiply by this rotation factor. You will get minus 25.88 same value here because rotation factor is same. This completes third cycle. Now go to next cycle in same way. So before calculating new values, first cut these values, and then how to calculate in fourth step? 0 minus 25.88 minus 33 minus 77.37. To this multiply by this right here and multiply by this right here. So this is fourth cycle. Again go to joint C, cut the old values and obtain the new values in same way. Now you can see that this is very close to this earlier value, minus 25.89 minus 25.89. So this completes fourth cycle. In fifth cycle, again go to joint B. So if you calculate, first cancel this, and if you calculate, you will see that you will get same value. Once you get same value, in next step, you stop the iteration. So these are the final values of rotation contribution in Kani's method. So this is how to obtain the rotation contribution at near end and far end. Now once you finish this iteration, we can now calculate final moment from this rotation contribution. So let us see how to calculate the final moment. So to calculate the final end moment, we are going to use these values which are marked by yellow color here: 17.21, 34.42, minus 25.89 and minus 25.89. Let us see how to write the equation to get the final end moment. Since this is the problem without sinking of support, we have to use this equation. That is, final moment is equal to 2 times rotation contribution at near end plus rotation contribution at far end plus fixed end moment. There will not be any displacement contribution in this case. So using this equation, now we are going to calculate final moment at all the ends. So how do we get final moment? 2 times rotation contribution at near end plus rotation contribution at far end plus fixed end moment of that member. So let us see how to calculate. Now suppose you want to calculate final moment MAB. Final moment MAB is 2 times rotation contribution at near end plus rotation contribution at far end plus fixed end moment. So we will add. So if you want to calculate what is MBA. Now for BA member, this is near end and this is far end. So 2 times rotation contribution at near end plus rotation contribution at far end plus fixed end moment, you will get final moment. If you want to calculate MBC, for BC, this is near end and this is far end. So 2 times rotation contribution at near end plus rotation contribution at far end plus fixed end moment of that joint, you will get final moment MBC. How you will get MCB? 2 times rotation contribution at near end plus rotation contribution at far end plus fixed end moment of that member, you will get MCB. Similarly, you can calculate MCD and MDC. So if you calculate in this way, you will get final moment as minus 0.37 MAB, MBA as 63.72, MCB as minus 63.72, MCB as 89.31 and minus 89.31, and MDC as 11.61. You must check that at joints, you must get equal magnitude but opposite sign. So MBA must be equal to MBC. Similarly, MCB must be equal to MCD. So this is how to calculate final moment. So this actually we write in tabular form. So let us write this final moment in tabular form. So we can write this final moment in two ways. In first way, we can write this in tabular form. Just now I told you that these are the final moment MAB, MBA, MBC, MCB, MCD and MDC. So what is that MAB? It is 2 times rotation contribution at near end plus rotation contribution at far end plus fixed end moment. So just now we have seen that at A final value was 0. At B for AB member final value was 17.21. Then fixed end moment MFAB was minus 17.58. So final value you get minus 0.37. Similarly, MBA, this is final moment BA. So you have to see the values at B and A. So 2 times rotation contribution at B plus rotation contribution at A plus fixed end moment MFBA, you will get final moment MBA. Similarly, you can calculate for other ends. So this is the one way to calculate final moment in tabular form. Otherwise, you can write equation like this directly. MAB is equal to 2 times rotation contribution at near end plus rotation contribution at far end plus fixed end moment. So if you write it, what you get? 2 times 0, this is 0, rotation contribution at A is 0, plus rotation contribution at far end is 17.21 plus fixed end moment. So finally, you get minus 0.37. Either you can solve like this in tabular form or you can write equation like this. So whatever you like, you can solve for the final moment at the end. So this is the procedure to analyze a continuous beam using Kani's method. Now we will draw the bending moment diagram for this case. I have prepared a separate video on how to draw the bending moment diagram for continuous beam and portal frame without making any mistake. So you can watch that video, that how to draw the bending moment diagram. Just now we have calculated final end moments. So if you draw the diagram, you will get something like this. So first of all, you draw these ordinates. To start with, first you draw this line, horizontal line. Then whatever values we have calculated, you draw these ordinates here. Then you join this like this, and over which you have to overlap with the free bending moment diagram. So for this case, it is WAB by L. It is eccentric load. So positive moment is WAB by L. For UDL, it is WL square by 8. And for central point load, it is WL by 4. So if you overlap this positive diagram over this negative diagram, finally you will get bending moment diagram something like this. In next video, we will see what are the changes we have to make if there is a hinge support or if there is overhanging part to this beam. So I hope you must have understood this Kani's method and how to apply it for analysis of continuous beam. So stay connected. Thank you for watching this video.